kind of busy, but I guess I'll do another one as quick as I can. It's a little windy in the spot. You know, as I post on these various cases, the one that I showed you why the local media obviously was not covering it, because it actually was an Alice paper, Alice Echo News, that showed what was done in that San Diego case. You know, it says the Texas Rangers will be investigating. I'm sure there are fine Texas Rangers. The problem in society is this. Many of the shootings I posted the last few years, the ones of the Black Lives Matter type things, which some I posted, the ones I thought, if you remember the history of a lot of these cases, even in Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, supposedly a liberal, you know, they covered up a lot of evidence in a lot of cop shootings. Meaning they would lie about a certain person was approaching them or whatever it was. And so it was only until like media, through freedom of information requests, things like that, then finally the videos released like at the last minute. And what you find, in many cases, you found they lied their asses off. Meaning the investigative agencies, cops and chiefs and all this. And so when the public sees something, whether it's this particular case in San Diego, and then they try to reassure, oh, Texas Rangers investigating. You know, yesterday I talked about how a judge refers to his court as redneck court, which is disgraceful. And then you have people in other parts of the country that might watch my little videos or just, and then the Texas Rangers, of course, they had the cowboy hats and all that. And I think it's disgraceful that you have in-house people that are within law enforcement, that show the history that I just explained. Chiefs and people within departments covering up until, and then that's supposed to reassure the community. The only reason there's going to be light on that is because innocently the Alice Echo paper reported what happened. That after that man threw the bayonet or knife and hit him in the leg, he's then unarmed. Because I guarantee you, odds are, and the odds still are, that would be considered a justified killing. And I think of the stereotypes, and some are earned. Some of those stereotypes are earned because of what we've seen over these last few years. And so it just bugs me. It just bugs me. You know, that I can give you cases. There was a time where I went into a paint store, Benjamin Moore Paints. It just so happened I was never in that store in my life. I was taking a friend called Shrek, and they had to, there was a Christian man that they knew that actually worked at Benjamin Moore Paints. And this was off of, all the way on the other side of town, off of Staple Street. And Tammy, the former girlfriend of Shrek, she was sitting in the car. And so I went into this store I've never been in my life with Shrek. Because this Christian man was going to help Shrek buy a bus ticket, like up to Houston. And I said, I'll give you a ride, Shrek. And then when I got out of the store, stopped in the middle of like the turning lane was a cop. But just waiting. And I didn't know it was a particular cop the one that tried to run me off the road. I didn't know it was him for sure. Till I got in the car. And then she said, that's so-and-so. I said, are you sure? She said, yeah, he waved at me because that officer knew my friend Shrek and Tammy. And what he did was he just tracked my phone that day. And the reason he was sitting in the middle thinking, he probably was seeing, let's see where John's at. And of course, that street, you had this paint store, and there was no like establishment, like is he in some bar, is he drinking? There was nothing of that. So that's why he was just sitting there, because he pinged my phone, because, you know, they don't follow the law in this city. And he just was kind of thinking, well, where the hell could he be? Like in a paint store, and I was. And I thought, these rogues, that same cop, one time I was taking people out to the island to do like a baptism. The guys from Timmins, actually. And I was going to drop one of them off, and then the few, and I used to take them once a week to swim. I was heading out to the island. And I left Timmins, which they kind of work with. The cop said, call if you see somebody. You'd think they would be doing their jobs, the money. They're bankrupting the city. But it's a true story. And as I went over the bridge called JFK Causeway, and I had the guys in the car, there was, I'll tell you the truth, there was some fat, ugly lady that worked for like the beach patrol. Just be honest about it. So remember. But that vehicle, they're law enforcement, but it's the patrol out there. But she was on the highway, like going to go over JFK Causeway, and I was coming off the bridge. Of course, they're primarily concerned with like people drinking on the beach or whatever. So then she does a U-turn and follows my vehicle. That's fine. And then I turned, I think it was called like White Cap, went all the way down to the water, and I was going to drop one of the brothers off there because I think he was camping like in that area, and then we're going to go to Bob Hall. Now this beach patrol's following me for a few miles, and as soon as I stopped to drop off the guy that was going to stay there, oh, I forget his name now. I have not seen him in a while, but he was a nice guy. The beach patrol lady, that's how I knew she was fat and ugly. The beach patrol lady who followed me for a few miles stops as soon as I stopped, and I had to open the trunk to let the guy get his backpack, and she stops, comes up to me like, do you have a parking sticker for the beach patrol? What? I actually did. But who asks you that without looking? I said, actually I do, dear. She was trying to see if I had drank that day. That same cop waited until I left. He wasn't there at Timmins. And then he called the island. Because they're all partners in crime out here. Said, pull that car over, I think he's drinking. Lied his ass off again. Lies, killings, murders. How much fucking money is it costing us? You're bankrupting us. Because of your damn salaries, which are way too high. Besides the criminal activity. That's what he did, which was a crime. Lied his ass off, said, oh, he's drinking. Targeted the car. And I realized it later, but that's what happened. Because it was kind of strange the way the incident. Yes, dear, I do have a beach sticker. And she kind of looked at me, I could say, you know, you got jobs to do. You got jobs to do, people. There are serious murders, serious crime. But you're getting your little cop cars, some of you, and all you're concerned about is breaking every fucking law in the book. All day, that element, non-stop, criminal. Never forget that. Never forget that. So when you tell me, oh, the Texas Rangers are going to win, I think, why would you have, if one of my gang friends killed another gang member, would you be confident if I said, you know what, I'm going to have the gang friends do an investigation? Would you be confident in that? South Texas is a criminal disgrace. And anybody that has any opinion that you're going to improve this region, it's going to take a long 50 years to another 100 years, if ever, to root out the corruption in this place. To root out the games that they play in this place. And that just, I had no plan on sharing that. I figured I'd give you that little information. So when the commissioners and the Lindsay Opals and the John Morrises, who had all this information about criminal activity, that commissioner now couldn't give a shit. He had a lot of letters of criminal activity. And how do they normally deal with that? They normally deal with it by calling in the police chief. Oh, we had a report that one of the guys beat the shit out of this one, and which all of that shit. Oh, we settled it. We handled it. You have supervisors, commissioning people who are just not up to the job. Some of them do have pasts. I always wondered if Chief Markle was the supervisor that covered up for the criminal cops. So you're making it up. I went to the Internal Affairs 5 years ago, bitching about a dumping ticket, which was full of shit. I helped a friend, Charlie. You saw Charlie on my videos, Big Charlie? One time they donated a mattress to Charlie. Oh, I got a delay on this, I see it. But when they donated the mattress, I told Charlie, I'll help you drop it off wherever he was camping off of that one street in the bluff. Of course, it was wrong, but they're on the street. And so some guy, illegal dumping, took videos of me dropping the mattress. So, John, there's a guy videotape. I said, it's fine. Well, then I get a big thing for illegal dumping. Oh, and I had to go to court for illegal dumping. And then in the court, I said, well, look, I do ministry. Oh, really? I said, yes. And I was, okay, well, you got to do 6 months probation for illegal dumping, whatever the hell it was. I forget the whole stuff. But I bitched about it because the initial lying bastards, known as CCPD, they had called my daughter the day I dumped that mattress. The next day, my daughter said, oh, the code enforcement's at the house. Debbie was at my house. Oh, what do they want? Oh, they told Dad, go pick up the mattress that you dumped. Oh, okay, I got charged. And then you won't get charged, or else you're going to get linked up for charge. Picked up the mattress, lied their asses off. Charge me, find me. Criminals, lying, corrupt, worshiping Satan. All corruption in this region. Lied their asses. That's why they came in. So you got these guys, the criminals you can't get off. What was I going to mention about you? A few years ago, one of the officers, I guess is you would say bisexual. Now, I don't judge for that, but I had Huey and some of the guys at times performed acts. And I remember one time, a lady who was not a street lady saw a particular officer. This is fucking known, you fucking criminal bastards. And that lady, who had no idea of my kind of advocating, the statement from her, I would never put her on. She said, oh, he makes them give him blowjobs in the cop car. I went off the rails. Does the chief know that's him? Yes, you damn right he did. And the only question I had at that fucking time was it consensual? Because one of my friends, the officer asked one of my friends, Huey, John might say that something about me. And in the nicest way, Huey came over one day and basically indicated that any of those activities were the officer did a favor for the cop, and basically said they were not forced activities, besides the fact that it was in a fucking cop car. And if you think I'm joking about that shit, you know about that. I won't say the name again. And I think, what a fucking disgrace. What a fucking disgrace. There's your number